Hey you guys, welcome to Splinterlands TV. It is I, the Psy, and I am back with a little experiment about renting. And are renters actually extractors? How much are the renters making? Are they just there providing match liquidity and not actually earning anything? Well, as you guys know, I've been running a secondary account right now that's not being bought, that's all being played manually by myself. And it's THEPSILENCE. It's the account that I'm using in the contest that I'm doing with Dolo Knight, as well as Gathering the Magic right now. So this is basically an account that is all rentals. The things that people in Discord complain about all the time is the renter extractors who they don't own any any SPS, they just rent the SPS and they rent the cards and they come in and they just basically take and give nothing back. Whoa! Hopefully that did ruin the video. I got a little excited with my take and knocked over my microphone. But I'm here to do a little calculation with you guys to see what are we talking about here? Like what is the actual extraction that we're talking about? Now, this is going to be based on modern, so this is real humans playing. There's no DEC fee to get into modern. So this is me having to put my actual like silence time into the game in order to earn this. Now I want to make that very, very clear, okay? This is not just botting. When I press go on a bot and it basically runs and it will drain my energy and be super efficient. And oh, it's a plane outside. I thought it was my computer. And it'll be super efficient. It'll play everything down to 0 every single time, okay? So we're talking about having to invest like real human time that you could be spent doing other things with into the game in order to earn these rewards, as you're going to see, okay? And also, let's not forget about the fact that renters, now this is going to sound like, hey, defending renters kind of post, but I mean, it kind of is when you're going to see the data that I break down here for you, okay? Also, renters stimulate this economy that we have, right? If there was no one who was renting these cards, then the value of having extra cards to use beyond survival mode, of course, would go down. Because the fact that you're able to actually rent these cards out is very positive for the Splinterverse, is how I'm gonna call it, right? Without having access to these rental cards, I mean, the cost in the game would be astronomical. Because everyone would have to own their own deck or buy their own cards off of the market, which can be daunting for, say, a new player when they were to look at the price of a mediocre deck. So I just want to make those things clear, kind of like that. When we're talking about a rental deck, we're talking about modern rentals. We're not talking about wild and botting. We're talking about putting in the human time in order to make the account actually work. All right. So I've got this account, and last season I'm gonna pull up the Splinter Stats season report card, and I'll leave a link for this, okay? So this was done by, I think it was Kioz. I don't see him in here, but I'm pretty sure this was done by Kioz, so make sure to show him some support. If it's not Kioz, I'm really sorry, man. Yes, it is Kioz. I think you are Kioz. But anyway, I went and I pulled up my stats here, okay? So here's my Splinter Stats ranked rewards for last season, because it's not going to incorporate this season. And you'll see that I was at an almost 50% win rate. I came close, but once you start getting into high diamond, low champion, then that's when the tofus come in. And once you start facing the tofus, unless you also have a tofu, then you're tofued. So, there we go. So that's how I'm going to justify my not quite 50% win rate here. But you'll see that we're actually talking about what the aspiration is, right? Which is to come to a point in the game where you're at about 50%, you know, which is what we wanted, theoretically. So I'm fulfilling that desired goal of the 50%. And here's what we're going to look at, okay? So in that time, I earned 1,268.499 SPS, from my ranked play wins, okay? I'm not even going to worry about Glint right now, because Glint doesn't count, because Glint doesn't have like a monetary value behind it. It sort of does, but let's not get into semantics of using DEC to unlock and then trying to sell those cards and, you know, do that kind of thing as well. We're going to ignore the Glint. We're just going to talk about the SPS and DEC, okay? So with these wins, it was 1,268.499 SPS. Where do I have that thing? Here we go. So putting that into the calculator, here it is. We're going to multiply that by the value of SPS right now. Take it right off here, 0.00064. All right, we'll punch that into old calculator over here. and we'll see what it says. All right, so that's $8.11. Okay, and I know that it's not, or eight. We'll call it $8.12. Now I know that's taken that for some reason it used to, but it's not right now for some reason. It used to take into effect the extra SPS that you win in guild brawls, for instance. I'm not sure why it's not doing that here right now. Because I know I did some guild brawls, but either way, we're just going to use this as a generalized example, okay? I mean, obviously there could be a little bit more. Let's just play it on the lower side. Let's say that you're a high gold, low diamond player or something like that, okay? Either way, my earnings in SPS, as calculated here at least, were $1,268.40 and 0.499, which again, we look at the calculator, that's $8.11. Here's where things get interesting though, okay? So in order for me to earn that, I had to spend 6,609 DEC and 14 cents. So if we were to go over here to Splinterlands now as well, and we were to check out the DEC values, we'll see it's at 0.0008259. Let me go over here now back to the calculator. So let me make sure I have that written down, $8.12, okay? $8.12. Now we're going to do a different calculation. We're going to do our 6609. We're going to multiply that by over here, this market price. Scoop it up. Come on. There we go. HRC. And go back to the calculator. I'm doing it on this calculator so you guys can all see what I'm doing. Equals, so $5.45. Okay, so now just the $5.46, and it's giving me that penny. If I'm going to round up to 12, I'll round up to 46. So $5.46, okay? So of that $8.12, $5.46 is already gone in rentals. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, hey, maybe that's okay. I mean, it's $8, $5.46. That's still like what, 5, 6, 7? That's still like $2.50. Is that good? Okay. Is that good? But for another thing, you're forgetting about the cost of the SPS rentals themselves, okay? So I'm lucky I'm getting my SPS. I normally rent 100,000 or so. And over 15 days, it cost me 1,500 DEC. Okay, because the last season was 15 days. I always pay up front. I get 100,000 allocated to me. It's actually going up this season. I'm getting 150,000 this season, but last season it cost me 1,500 DEC just to rent my SPS, so my SPS would be at 100,000. And like I said, this time I'm going up a little higher. I'm going to see what happens if I were to go up, but you can see right now I've got this incoming delegation 150,000. Okay, so that being said, we have to account for that cost as well, right? I mean, that wasn't free. So let's go ahead. Let's take the 1,500. Let's multiply that by this number again, CTRL-C, and let's put it into the calculator. So times this cost equals, so that's another $1.24. All right, so we're going to take that $1.24 and we're going to add on to that our other expense, which is 5.46 equals, or it's now we're at 670. We're going to call it 6.7. All right, so now we're at $6.70. That's in expenses. Okay, and again, sure you could earn a little bit more, but hey, this is pretty much what I got, right? So just looking at just looking at the comparatives of just what I earned in the ranked play. And again, like I said, I could be grinding out tournaments. I could be doing all this other stuff with these cards. In the brawls, it's not adding that properly. But this is just a generalized example. I'm just showing you guys, okay? So now we have our $8 and $8.12. So let's take 8.12, and we're going to subtract from that the $6.70 equals $1.42. Okay, so all of that work last season, all of this work that I did, the playing of the how many battles was it? Let's just take a look. Oh, it shows over here. So the battles. So if I ranked play wins, if my wins were 192, that means that it would have been like 384 or something like that, right? 384 or something. 389, 18. Yeah, I'll just say 384. That means I played 384 battles at a 50%, which is what we're assuming here. Last season, I paid 384 battles. I added 384 battles to the match liquidity of the kind of like diamond and super low champion. Like I think I hit it, I got like a champion 3 reward, and then I got immediately booted back down to diamond, right? I wanted to end in diamond anyway, so I'd be on the diamond leaderboard over and over again. Not that I'd win that either, but still, that was kind of my thing, okay? So in order for me to do like that 384 matches, I earned $1.42. So 1.42. So how long do you think it takes for a match? Let's just say that indeed the matches were coming pretty quick. And I like to watch my matches, okay? I think a lot of people who love Splinterlands also likes to watch their matches. So let's say that including the wait time for waiting for an opponent, as well as team submission, as well as watching the match, okay? So we're going to consider all those things into it. Let's say that a battle takes... I'm going to go real conservative, okay? I'm going to go so conservative, you're going to say, no, it's impossible that you're watching it and entering it and waiting for your opponent to enter their teams, and you're not taking the full amount of time. Normally the entry time is 3 minutes. I'm going to say it's 3 minutes to do all of that, okay? We're just going to say it's 3 minutes. We're going to say it's 3 minutes to do all of those things, to enter your team, to watch the battle, and to wait for your opponent to finish entering their team, and to find a match even. We're going to say it's only 3 minutes. We're going to pretend match liquidity is perfect, and somehow we've got a speed X10. In fact, 3 minutes is a little too lenient, okay? I think that's a little too lenient. We'll see if we add an extra 33% at the end of this, which would be 4 minutes, where it would lead us, which I also think, all those things considered, super lenient, okay? So we're going to take that, and what did it say it was? It was matches. Oh, it tells me my matches are... No, that's my modern. Longest streak. Okay, so play wins. Like I said, we're going to consider it 192 times 2. So we're going to do 192. What's going on here? C. All right, so 192 times 2 equals 384. So it's 384 matches. And like I said, we're going to take those, we're going to multiply those by only 3 minutes per match, okay? All right, so now we're looking at 1,152 minutes. We're going to divide that by 60 equals 19 hours. Like, did I do that? Seems like a lot of time. There's no way that I spent 19 hours playing this last time. No way. No. Let me check it out. And that doesn't include, again, the time that I put in for those brawl matches and things, which also take time. That can't be right. Okay, so let's try this again. Is that right? Did I literally spend 19 hours playing Splinterlands last season? That is crazy when it comes out that way. No. This is the first time I'm seeing that number. Like, I knew what I was going to do when I made the video, but I didn't like look at the numbers beforehand because I knew that it would prove my point here. Okay, I knew that it would prove my point. Let me just try this one more time. There's no way that that's it. Okay, there's no way. I'm totally shocked if that's actually what's happened here. So I'm gonna go up here one more time. 289, 192 wins. All right, let's go back again. No, this can't be right. 192 wins, okay? Times 2, because I'm running at 150%, is 384 matches. Is that right? Leaderboard last season. Let me see last season. 389. I don't know why I didn't do that in the first place, but 389. So what's 389? Wow, that's crazy. I'm going to go up to 389. 389, because that's the actual number. So 389. And we're saying that this 389 matches each took only 3 minutes, which is a very low number for most of us. Okay, let's face it. And like I said, that's waiting for the match, entering your team, waiting for your opponent sometimes to finish entering their team, and watching the match. Okay, and I'm saying that's only 3 minutes. You know that's generous, all right? Even if there was a 10x watch. 389, okay? And we're saying times 3 equals, times 3 plus 0 equals 1167. It's 1167. No way. That's how many minutes. I'm going to divide that by 60 minutes. No way. All right. So now it's 19.45 hours. Oh my gosh, 19.45 hours. Okay. So if I were to now take that, what was that amount that we even had? I didn't write it down. This is just too crazy. There's no way that it's that number. So we had $8.12, and we're going to take away from that $6.70 equals That's right, that $1.42, $1.42, $1.42. Let me just write that down in case you need it again. In fact, we do. So we're going to do $1.42. We're going to do 1.42, and we're going to divide by 19.45 equals. So at that ratio, is this really right? You're getting paid 7 cents an hour, basically, to provide that match liquidity. We can look at it like Splinterlands is saying, hey, you know what? You want to go ahead and you want to provide some match liquidity? I'll pay you 7 cents an hour to provide that match liquidity for the diamond and the champion players. Because that is pretty crazy when you look at it. If it literally took 19.45 hours to play those 389 matches, and that's at only 3 minutes. Okay, if we were to make that 4 minutes, just think about what we'd be talking about here. Okay, if we were to make that 4 minutes, like, I don't even want to look at that number. I think that this illustrates the point pretty well. Do you think that it's worth paying someone basically 7 cents an hour to provide that match liquidity? Because that's what it looks like from the standpoint of my account. And like I said, it would be a little bit higher once we go and we put in the matches from guild brawls, and if I was a tournament player, tournament playing wins and stuff, which are all totally legit. But I'm just saying, from ranked play, it looks like this is how much you earn per hour. All right, as a 50% win rate guy renting 100k SPS, of which I'm even renting even more than that this season. You know, I was actually, and I play for the fun of the game. Don't get me wrong. So it's not like I care that it was only like 7 cents basically an hour that I was earning. You know, because I don't look at it like earning, I look at it like playing the game. But at the same time, how does this number make you feel, those of you who are negative about renters and, they just extract from the game and, they don't do anything? How does this number actually make you feel? And again, you know what? I think that I should almost multiply it by another 33%. So let's actually do 0.66 equals. So that's how much it would be if it was actually 4 hours. It would be like 5 cents. You're like, hey, you're working for 5 cents an hour if every match took 4 minutes, you know? But I mean, think about it even at 7 cents an hour, okay? Like, if there were lots of people who were willing to play for 7 cents an hour, and you thought that was because they were playing and earning 7 cents because they're like, dude, I'm totally an extractor. I can't wait until I get my 19.45 hours in at 7 cents an hour. Like, man, people like me, my time is worth what? Looking at this number, my time with my kids in my real life to even just like do dishes and stuff like that is worth more to me than 7 cents an hour or 5 cents an hour, you know? And I know that some of you might say, well, in developing nations, or whatever the politically correct way of saying that is, that 7 cents an hour is fantastic. Like, that's amazing. I know those are probably people who would be playing in tournaments as well, and, you know, doing their brawls and getting their extraction in that way. But geez, guys, like, in the grand scheme of things, I think it's worth paying someone 7 cents or 5 cents an hour, someone who loves the game and is playing manually and is providing that match liquidity, they're 5 cents an hour, you know, or 7 cents an hour if we're gonna use that. So yeah, man, it's again, you're pretty focused on doing this. It's like, sure, you can sort of multitask. You can be like, if you're playing on mobile, you can be like playing on mobile and enter your team and then do your waiting and stuff like that and go back and watch the TV, or you're watching the TV passively or something like that. Those things are all possible. But at the same time, I mean, still have to look down at your phone. You're still actually playing for that 19.45 hours in order to play your 389 games or whatever it was, man. So, I mean, this is not a lot. In my opinion, I mean, I don't know if you guys think that 5 cents or 7 cents an hour is a lot. But I think that the value that they're adding to the game by virtue of them existing as part of the player base is worth far more than the 7 cents that they could be extracting an hour. And like I said, it's higher, and they probably have less time. They probably found the ultimate extractors have probably found ways. They don't watch the matches. They don't care about that. I'd still say 3 minutes is good for them, though, too, because, I mean, you're going to be waiting for other slow-mos to go and get their team in, plus your own wait time for the match to start. And And again, wait time for the opponent, and then maybe you will want to watch a match. So, I mean, leaving it at 3 minutes is probably for those like real extractor type players that you guys might even be talking about. So let's call it the 3 minutes. And even looking at that, 7 cents an hour, guys. Like, I don't know, man. Higher win rates would affect that. More SPS staked would affect that, but would also increase their costs. Better cards rented that cost more would affect that. But if that leads to that higher win rate, that could also affect that. You know, there's lots of ways to pull it, but let's just look at it from my perspective under the Silence account. I don't know, buddy. Looking at that makes me feel like, geez, I must really love Splinterlands to be playing for 5 or 7 cents an hour. For me, I know that my matches are probably like 4 or 5 minutes. There's no way that my matches are 3 minutes. I'll tell you that right now. In my personal real world life, my matches are more than 3 minutes each. Between waiting for the match, entering the match, watching the match, because I watch every match on 3x to 4x, it's definitely more than 3. I'll tell you that. Sometimes the wait time for a match is almost a minute. So right there is that. Then you enter your team, and I'm slow. It takes me a while to enter my team. I'm like, sometimes it's getting near the end of that 3 minute timer that we have or whatever. I think it's 3 minutes in Diamond and Champ. Sometimes it's getting near the end of that timer. I'm like, oh man, like I got to like quickly make the switch. Like, and then I watch it. Buddy, I'm probably at maybe even 5 minutes, which means that my extraction as a renter with this Silence account is probably around a whopping like, 2.5 cents an hour. I'm extracting 2.5 cents an hour if we look at it from that perspective of it taking 5 minutes a match, because you're actually engaged in watching the battle. Take out the watching the battle, and I mean, I'm sure you could cut those times down drastically, but I do it. So for my personal world, I'm probably working for 2.5 cents an hour if that's the way that you look at the game. So I don't know, guys. It's going to be very interesting to see the way that these rentals end up working out once they go seasonal. Because this is technically, it's the Monday before the maintenance that's going to make things go seasonal, right? So it's going to be kind of crazy to see how things work out when we're talking about these seasonal rental prices, and how many of us renter accounts are even going to be able to exist when you're basically making $1.42, you know? Looking at it from the standpoint of right now, $1.42, and for putting in, call it 20 hours. Let's call it 20 hours, okay? Let's be real. Let's call it 20 hours. Put in 20 hours to make, call it $1.50. Here's some round numbers. 20 hours to make $1.50. That doesn't sound like a very good value proposition from the standpoint of renters are there to make lots of money and take away from the community. You know, if those renters are doing it, it's because they enjoy playing. You know, maybe it might be different if you're talking about a, like I said, a really, really high level renter or something like that. But I'd consider myself around a median player, you know, and $1.50 for 20 hours. It's pretty rough, boys. It's pretty rough, man. I don't know if that's the job for me. You know, as a fun game that I like to play, I'm happy to get $1.42. But if I was like looking to make an extraction somewhere, I could go out and I could literally rake someone's lawn for more than that $1.42 for 20 hours, you know, or my 7 cents an hour or whatever, you know. This is not, no, like, as a one account renter, these are not the people that we want to be getting rid of, is the one account renters who are adding match liquidity at the cost of 7 cents an hour. That's my little analysis for you guys on my rental account. How do you guys feel about this? Like, what are do you have worries moving into seasonal rentals? Like, are you a rental account? Are you going to be able to continue to play if rental prices go sky high, because now they're competing with survival for the rentals and everything? Like, are you even going to be able to make it? Can you do it? Are you earning the same as this account is once you factor in the cost to rent SPS and the cost to rent cards? And you might be renting, like I said, I'm a cheapo dude. I don't rent 4-star Dr. Blight. I rent 3-star Dr. Blight. You know, I'm one of those guys. I'll knock off my rental expenses best that I can and be a Scrooge about it. So I'm interested to know, as a renter, are you like raking it in, or are you basically playing because you love it and you're like, yes, $1.42 at the end of the season, that's a bonus, but it's not why I'm playing. Let me know, and don't forget, we got the Silence social media contest going on right now. Give me a like, share, subscribe, and leave me a comment with your Splinterlands user name, and you'll be entered into a draw. This is the final season, season 4 of 4, where you could win some of up to 6 Chaos Legion packs. And I think I misphrased that. First place gets 3, second place gets 2, first place gets 1 Chaos Legion pack. So make sure that you go ahead and you leave your username in a comment in the comment section. And until next time, it's either Sai. Keep it going. I'm very excited to see how this account performs in seasonal rentals. I guess after tomorrow's update, and I'll catch you all around Pretoria. Take care, my friends. Peace.